LinkedIn Sales Navigator versus Apollo.io. What is the best software to grow your business? Before sharing my screen to show you the different features of each software, let me show you right now what are the main differences between each software. To me, like when it comes to LinkedIn Sales Navigator, the biggest thing about this is that you have real-time data, because you see when you are using apollo.io, Apollo is a database software, and you have many different databases software. You have Zoom Info, you have Uplead, and the thing with all these different softwares is that essentially they're scraping LinkedIn Sales Navigator every 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months. So LinkedIn, when it comes to B2B data, is the source of every single software out there, databases software. So that's, to me, it's the biggest advantage. On the other hand, when it comes to Apollo.io compared to LinkedIn Sales Navigator, the main advantage that they have is that you can find the phone number of your leads, but you can also find the email addresses inside the software, because in Sales Navigator, you can't export leads with the valid B2B email addresses unless you're using another software for that that is not included in your Sales Navigator subscription. So now let me show you both softwares and to share more details about it. So this is LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Like Apollo, the main feature is its database aspect, where I can say, for example, give me all the co-founder in a specific location. So in that case, let's just do like New York. And the good thing about this compared to LinkedIn Sales Navigator is that you have unique insights. Because like I said, um, with LinkedIn Sales Navigator, it's real time data. And because of that, you have filters like posted on LinkedIn in the past 30 days. And this sounds very basic as a filter, but it just means that it's people who are active online, from my experience and my client's experience. And so by enabling that filter, you're going to make sure that when you send a cold email, when you send a LinkedIn message or LinkedIn invite, you are not wasting your time with these leads because they're active online. So the time to reply is going to be much faster than if you don't enable that filter. Then, if we go to the account section, it's the same. You also have unique insights like filtering companies by the numbers of followers, which is also good to know if a company is active online, because the companies who have more than 1,000 followers, they usually are super active online. And that in that case, if you're an agency or business consultant that are selling to um, who are selling digital services, this is going to be a very important feature. But then if we go to the other aspect of LinkedIn Sales Navigator, I would say that it's kind of like a micro CRM software, because you can create list of prospects, etc. But the thing is, it's very, very limited. You have some auto filters where automatically you have your recently accepted connections on LinkedIn. And so from there, it's pretty easy to be organized with this. But to me, it's not a big thing, because I'm personally using my own sales CRM, breakcold.com, to aggregate all this kind of information. So I never use it. So to me, Sales Nav, I'm Team Sales Nav, and I will show you Apollo.io that I use occasionally. All right, so this is Apollo. The first thing you can notice with Apollo.io is the data aspect. You can see that I can use my credits in Apollo to get access to the email address of my leads, but I can also get access to the mobile phone number. And this is very powerful, because the main weakness of Sales Navigator is that you don't have this kind of data. And usually you will have to use a third party software to export leads from LinkedIn Sales Navigator. The second thing that is very interesting with Apollo is that it's not just a database software, really. You can build sequences. So essentially, you can use it as an all-in-one sales tool. You can connect it to your CRM if you have one. You can create some tasks to do follow-ups if you don't want to use a CRM. So essentially, Apollo is much more than a database. They also have quite a lot filters that don't exist on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So, for example, you have the technologies filter that only exists on accounts on Sales Nav, but here you have it for people. So, for example, I run a CRM software, right? And so, to me, like my biggest competitor is Pipedrive. And so, what I can do is that I can say, okay, give me all the customers, all the people who are using Pipedrive in that with that specific job titles in that specific locations and with that employee size. And so from there I can just like target all these leads with cold emailing and LinkedIn messages. So for that only aspect, I do appreciate and use Apollo.io, but otherwise, to be fair, I always use LinkedIn Sales Navigator because to me it's real-time data. With Apollo, I'm often disappointed with the quality of the B2B email addresses. So at the end of the day, I always have to use another tool to find the valid work email. For that, I use findemail.com. So to me, Sales Navigator for 90% of the time and Apollo.io for 10% of the time. This is how I allocate my time to find qualified leads to grow my business.